Hello everyone. We're going to talk about what would Jesus do and the meaning behind that. So I'm Sade of Tuition Chat and we're going to get into the topic here on 2023-08-22 at approximately 0927 on the east coast of the United States. Right. So what would Jesus do? In this particular time and setting in Roman times, there was a lot of barbaric activities going on, a lot of prostitution, a lot of envy and jealousy, a lot of strife, struggle, and pain throughout that experience, and it started to boil over because of political strife, of economic decline, of cultural changes. And so these are things that we see in our present reality, okay? So that's important with these testimonies in the Bible, in a book. It is to be that's why it's called the living testament, okay? There's testimonies of people's experiences with the creator. And so those experiences are compiled so you're able to refer to specific stories in a categorized manner. If you're looking for something surrounding faith, love, conviction, you can turn it because a book is organized, okay? So you can turn to a specific chapter, a specific book to gain that testimony and apply it to your current reality, all right? So when you're thinking, what would Jesus do? During that period of time, there was just so much going on that was against the Most High. It was literally going into darkness, and people had their understanding of light and dark, but continued to choose the dark. And it was so much surrounding the darkness that people just felt like, well, that's ignorance is bliss. No, it's not blissful. Ignorance is ignorance. Okay. Now, there's a difference between ignorance of just not knowing something and also just putting your fingers in your ear, like hear no evil, see no evil. That has a positive and negative side, just like anything else, divinity, right? So when someone knows something is wrong and continues to take action to go in that direction, that's when the Most High looks at it as a negative. If you were doing something that you did not know was wrong, it was harmful, it was against the light, then you have some form of shielding because it is an ignorance. You didn't actually know that it was the incorrect thing to do. So grace is offered then. What would Jesus do isn't being a perfect individual. Jesus being a representative of the links in which conviction and faith were taken to stand in the relationship, the communion, the communication with the Most High. Because that communication between Jesus and the Most High, Jesus is an angel, okay? How the structure goes, the Most High, then the angels, then human or man, right? And once you get to the human level, that divinity, that energy is split into two, man and woman, okay? Divine masculine and divine feminine. Divine feminine having the role to reach the etheric realms and communicate with the Most High and bring light, which the male energy follows. That's where the male follows in the spirit. And is led also in the physical with his eyes. That's why men are attracted to the things that they see. We're all attracted to things that we see. That's why we have eyes, to help process information in our reality. Think about if you're about to buy meat, fruit, bread, or food. I should just say food, right? If you're looking to purchase those things, you're looking for freshness, vibrancy. You're looking for imperfections. You're looking for perfections, or what you consider to be you want to ingest it. Even with a peach, you want a peach that's ripe and juicy versus one that they just pulled off of a vine. It wasn't even ready to be consumed yet. What would Jesus do is, because Jesus was so in his connection that he had that understanding that whatever happened to his physical body, the Most High would take care of it, heal it, because the spirit is within this body, within this physical vessel, within this space suit. Okay? So, yeah, Jesus wasn't a heathen. I put that in my notes like that because that's the download I got. He wasn't a heathen. And so that sacrifice, that sacrificial lamb was there to display. It's like, they'll call it the shot across the world, the shot heard across the world, is because the story was built. It was built. It wasn't just, oh, we hit the gavel and you're sentenced to crucifixion and that's it. It's a private ceremony, because it is a type of practice. It is a type of ritual to crucify someone. They're reading off what you did. That is ritualistic, okay? Crucifixion is. I've always looked at the cross as, well, I wouldn't say always. However, early on, I looked at the cross as, it is a place where a crucifixion happens. Why would I wear that on my body? It's supposed to represent, again, testimonies that even the physical, the death, D-I-E, death, D-E-A-T. Listen, I'm spelling it out because I don't know. YouTube flag certain words. Anyway, that process, it's a part of our journey. It's going to happen. And so therefore, removing that fear, having faith and conviction, and also having the awareness that no matter how it may seem physically, if you're in spirit, if you're in that connection, there's zero. It's an infinite. And so that is the ultimate testimony, and the reason a lot of people use Jesus as their connecting piece. However, Jesus is an angel. Jesus definitely gives respect, because that energy was definitely needed, and it's needed for people to refer back to and use for their testimonies, to draw them out of whatever pit they have dug themselves into, because this can be of our own doing, right? That pit to be able to dig themselves out of. So you can read that story and say, Jesus was able to overcome these things. So can I, right? Because these same people were on the planet, right? These people were on the same planet, in the same experience. Things were different, of course. The planet was different. The water was more clear. The air was different. You could see the stars. We didn't have so much light pollution. We literally had to be guided by the stars, by the heavens. Astronomy was more. It was more of a focused art that everyone needed a piece of, because so much planning goes into what the planets were doing. Would do. To identify his sacrifice and still stand to rise again. Okay? And even after it was supposed to be, certain, I need to get the story properly because it was 3 days. So I apologize if I don't know. I need to, being someone who came up in a Christian Baptist faith, we always had Bibles and literature, and I had a Bible, but I've been moving around and doing different things, and then as well as being interested in how the entire world sees the Most High. Like, how are you viewing that energy? How are you viewing that mission? How are you viewing connections? And so I started leaning more towards a more openness and a vastness to have that understanding of how people communicate. You go into like some Asian restaurants, let's say like Thai or Filipino, there's fruit and other statues in which beings that they give thanks to for their luck and their fortune and love and things like that, their ancestors. And so it always had me intrigued as to, okay, these people are doing this every day. This is their faith. This is how they are in communion and worship. So I started leaning more into having a worldview, an etheric view, a multiverse type view of this experience, because 2 feet, boom, boom, land on the ground, who has the correct rule book? And that's what a lot of these wars, strife, and struggle is about, is because some people are so into how they feel that this experience is that they're willing to literally go against what is in most religious texts to prove that their religion is the top religion, which is interesting. Most religious texts, now I'm not talking about the darkness, the kingdom of dark. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about religions that are bringing people into the light. Those texts talk about love and forgiveness and giving testimonies and how you work through certain things. So when it's not against, it's not to kill people, harm, injure, it has me like, okay, so what are their views in it? Because those are the basic principles of when you're interacting with people, is that you aren't out to harm anyone, be in someone's will, you're here to bring the light. And so if you're doing that, I am interested, because it's an electromagnetic spectrum, right? There's so many different colors and vibrations, and everyone has their own song and their own testimonies of their experiences. I mentioned there's water people. They're people that live on the water. So they're fishing every day. Their homes hover, like, of course, staked into some firm foundation of ground, but their homes are above water. So that's a different experience waking up. I'm very used to it being ground. When I walk outside, there's ground. I put my feet on the ground. It's a different experience, right? There's mountain people, whose ancestors traveled nomadic type experience to get to a place where they settled, right? Because if you're constantly moving, you can do that, but there's other things that come with that type of nomadic lifestyle, which is stability, stable. That's a firm foundation. That's where that phrase comes from, because you want to be somewhere where you have the things that you need to sustain your life: water, food, shelter. Okay. And then I wrote prostitutes and peasant behavior. Okay. And so although the male energy, the masculine energy, isn't considered a prostitute, which I'm going to go through my dictionary as well as etymology book to see the origins of, which I probably, you know what, let me just bring that now since I'm thinking about it, because I got a few videos to make today. Okay, so let me find prostitution. So this is, I didn't bring a dictionary, but this is etymology dictionary. So basically the origins of words, like how they're used now and like where they stem from, and then also the well-known language that is attached to, you know, like Latin or Germanic languages. Prostitution. I'm like, what am I looking for? Okay, it says prostitution, see stand, paragraph 31. So, STAN. Okay, so I'll read the first one and then I'll read paragraph 31. So, stand represents so large a group of words that one could hardly, in such a work as this, treat all of them under one heading. The various subgroups and the isolated terms, however, at least mention, the principal developments are shown, and the arguments is set forth clearly and so far as possible, systematically. The numerous cross-references should enable even the weariest of readers to fill in the gaps. Okay, so that was needed. Paragraph 31. So we went prostitution, then it brought us to the word stand, and it said paragraph 31, and here it is. A place, pro or forward, to expose, hence to expose oneself for sexual sale. Has prostitutes went prostitutos, hence to prostitute. If, okay. Okay, that was a short little piece because here it's just giving you the basically how words move, because we've always traversed the planet. We just got there in different ways. Boats, then eventually end up air travel, planes. You know, we were already traveling on land with animals and things of that nature. That's where horsepower comes from. We're traveling on horses, anything that could carry us for distances quicker. And we also used to run and, you know, walk and the basic things of being a human being, using our body. So, so prostitutes and peasant behavior. So even if you're not selling yourself, you're still conducting yourself in a manner in which represents that, okay? So, what does that look like? It looks like you displaying yourself in a manner in which it references intercourse, okay? And not approved. However, to enter the course of someone else's energy takes that person being at an energetic level that I can vibe with. Listen, sometimes there is smoke and mirrors and you think that you're doing something that's this and it's not. It's okay. It happens. It happens, okay? Not to say you just fall into intimacy with someone, but it happens to be having a misunderstanding of how that person really wants to connect with you, because people can really want to connect on a surface level, and that's where you have all this struggle and strife going on the planet, because people are leaving the Garden of Eden and going into this material world, where in the material world things are very surface. Oh, I just want to sleep with this person, to the point where we're calling it sex. We're not even calling it intercourse anymore. We've gotten away from the art form of it. There's a practice called the Tao of Love and Sex, the Tao of love making. Like, to understand its practice and the connection to that person that you're dealing with. It's not out here spreading all around and get energy going all over the place. When energy is concentrated, it's powerful. When energy is split, it's weak. So yeah, what would Jesus do? Don't display yourself in a manner in which Jesus would not. That's men or woman. Flip the roles, because with women, we already know we have a different energy as males, or at least I hope you get that understanding, because some of y'all out here like, we can do what men do. Listen, yes, the queen's gambit, yes, the queen on the chessboard is able to make all these moves and plays. However, if the king is off the board, the game is over, okay? So that'll be another topic. Let me probably write that down. Another topic of, you know, chess. And that just goes back to the woman leading in the spirit. The man is leading in the physical. So I'm gonna get off this thing. I got a few more videos coming out, but I want to get. Didn't want this, 15 minutes. But anyway. Okay.